There's no more waiting around. The Toyota Minor League Championship presented by Sunoco is finally back, and so is Joel Manning, International Man of Charisma. Joel, it's great to talk to you again. It's been a long time, but in some ways it seems like it was just yesterday.
No, indeed. It's actually only been a couple of months, It's been just shy of a year, but the action is here again. And this weekend showed that it is going to be an exciting season of cricket for number 2.
Yeah, so are you done? Are you getting tired of hanging out with bikini models and stuff like that? Are you ready to get right back into minor league?
It's all work, so wherever work takes me, I go. So yes, I am here with my league and ready to go.
Awesome. Well, thanks for making time for us. I know I know you'd rather be out there on a boat someplace, wearing some designer clothes, but I appreciate this.
Never a problem, Nate.
Some upgrades to the minor league cricket this season. There's more turf games. There's hybrid wickets coming. We've got premium streams now, as you saw this weekend at Woodley in Los Angeles. We were treated to Nikhil, Zubin, and Josh on comms over there, which is always going to be entertaining and insightful. They have an 8-camera, operation going on. So you got to see, it was like the real deal this time around, So we've got that going on every weekend now. And next weekend, they're going to be in Prairie View Cricket Complex. So we'll see teams like Houston, Chicago, Golden State, Michigan. We're going to see the returning champions, the Strikers, Seattle, Southern California. They're all going to be gathered there playing the premium streams. I'm really stoked to see so many good teams in that group that'll be there next week. So we should see some really good games. We saw some good games from those same teams this weekend, including Seattle going 1-1 against the Blazers, the East Bay Blazers. The Strikers went 2-0. Golden State went 2-0. We didn't see Michigan yet. We'll see them this coming weekend. They'll premiere. Houston actually lost this past weekend to Dallas. Dallas was absolutely fantastic, beating Lone Star also in their other game. That team looks very deep, very tough to beat. So this week we saw some crackers, some really close games over in the South. We saw Morrisville lose to the Fort Lauderdale Lions. A lot of people were surprised by that. That was a game that was shortened by rain to 14 overs. The Morrisville Raptors actually got a dose of that Orlando Galaxy bad luck this weekend when they got their game against Orlando Galaxy rained out. That's going to be tough. There's some good teams in that division. So leaving there with only the point that you get from a rain out, not beating a team that a lot of people think you should beat. Obviously, Roy Silva had other ideas in that game and absolutely plunked the ball, just hit it all over the place. He was absolutely brutal, bowled well as well. And in a 14 over game, anything can happen. You have one guy stand on his head and all of a sudden you win the game. That's not to say anything bad about Fort Lauderdale. They're not a bad team by any stretch, but a lot of people were expecting Morrisville to win that game. I mentioned Texas, Seattle going 1-1 against the Blazers. Golden State and Silicon Valley have not skipped a beat. They look fantastic. We saw Ehsin Adil today with 6 wickets, 7 for the weekend. He leads the entire tournament. That guy, Golden State went all the way to the finals weekend last year without him. So they've in some ways improved this year. Of course, we're going to see what happens when players are taken away. Vatsal being one of them, taken away for USA service this year, and Silicon Valley Strikers are going to lose Saurabh Netravalkar. Maybe that will even things out a little bit for the other teams. Seattle will definitely try to take advantage of that. East Bay will definitely try to take advantage of that. But yeah, the West does not look any easier this year.
No, definitely no. And it's interesting that you mentioned with regards to the players leaving, because I was looking at the game this weekend. I was seeing the performances when I was saying, okay, these teams are jumping ahead, but it's a very long season. I think that's something that people have to be aware of from my league. It's not 4 weeks and, it is all done and over with. There are over 200 games that are going to be played over the next month and a half. And for the teams that are going to lose players, the points that they get at the top are going to be crucial, because we saw with last season, there were a couple teams who were leading, and then all of a sudden down at the back end, they lost some players and it did not make it to that finals weekend. So it's going to be very interesting to see the little trade-off that we have when players leave either for national duties. We have a couple of guys in the Caribbean who are going to head back home for different types of engagements, so it's going to be very interesting this season, watching how it plays out as people switch around.
Oh, definitely. And speaking of guys from the Caribbean, What about Rahkheem Cornwall this weekend?
No, honestly, I had the pleasure of sitting down and watching the stream for all two games that he was batting. Let's talk about game number one. Off to a flyer. Trust me when I say that. It didn't matter if it was full or short. It went the distance. But then the game that they played on Sunday, now, I think it was Orlando Galaxy that they played in their second game. 94, I think it was, or more than that. I might be wrong in terms of how much he scored in that game. Let me check.
I believe he scored 93 in his 93, game.
So I'm one off. I gave him one more. He probably deserves it. But innings was phenomenal. It was well paced. Let me say that, because he didn't blast from the start like he did yesterday. He took a couple balls to get into it, but trust me when I say he punks on anything that was fractionally offline.
Absolutely.
Offline. No, he spared no one, and it was a beautiful innings, deserving of what should have been 100 this weekend.
Oh, no question about it. And then, a guy like Rahkheem, who likes to really just smash the ball and kind of stay there, and he gets some long singles sometimes, but he's not the type of guy that's going to run a lot in between the wickets. And you got him out there with, with Aaron, who loves to run. So
he actually caged bats more than he ran singles.
It was ridiculous. I don't remember. I watched that. I don't remember him giving any chances at all.
From my memory, I don't think there was one chance that he really gave in that innings. It was honestly clean striking. It was calculated striking, and players are going to have to look out for him and Atlanta Fire this season. That is for sure, hands down, because you have him at the top. You mentioned Aaron, who is actually clicking, because when Rahkheem got out on Sunday, Aaron then picked up the slack and he went there, fell just short of a half century. I think he maybe got about 47, 48 against Orlando Galaxy in that second game, and I think that Rahkheem Cornwall has really added a new dimension to this Atlanta Fire team. Then they also have Jamar Hamilton, who, when he clicks on his day, is also one to watch for. So like early up, I think that if these players actually go straight through, which I'm not sure a lot of them will, because, Aaron is going to leave on national duty. We don't know if Rahkheem will be there for all, if Jamar is going to be there for all.
Steven's leaving.
Yep, there we go. So once again, it's going to be an interesting dynamic, but I am excited to see what Atlanta Fire does.
Right, absolutely. Everybody's going to get chances now with Steven leaving, with Aaron leaving. Aaron left the weekend, like we said. Rahkheem, number 3 over the weekend in runs, scored 129 runs, but he did that at a 238.89 strike rate with 15 sixes. I made a reel today of his sixes, and I had to pick and choose which ones I wanted to put in because it was getting too long.
It wasn't even little sixes. They were massive. They were massive.
Yeah, exactly. And so when you see a guy like him is number 3 in the league leaving the weekend, and then you have another guy who's number 9 in the league, Aaron Jones, with 88 runs at 162.96. That was his strike rate this weekend. High score of 48. So 48 and 40 were his innings, which is excellent productivity for T20 cricket. But everyone will take that every single game. But yeah, Aaron scoring at that 162.96. He's got kind of a reputation for being a slow starter, but we've seen him in T20 over the last year or so, where he's adapted so much better lately.
No, he definitely has to see that his training is paying off, because I think he understands his role now a lot better. So he lets Steven and the guys go off, and he knows that his role is to bat down deep into the end. And as long as he can keep doing that, he's going to score runs, and he's going to set up Atlanta Fire and whoever he plays for in great positions in any limited overs match.
Absolutely. And I'll be really curious to see where he bats in the USA team in these upcoming T20s in the qualifier down in Zimbabwe, because, there's talk about him possibly opening the batting. He's done it in the past. He did it at least one of the games down in Houston, in the Cricket World Cup League 2. So, we can look forward to seeing him perform. It's nice to see him heading into this international, I guess, break, not really a break for him or anything. It's not really a break at all, but it's nice to see him heading into these internationals on fire the way that he is. Obviously, Rahkheem Cornwall probably came in on fire as well. So I tell you what, though, he is such a fun guy to watch bat. How do you watch him bat and not just have a smile on your face? Cornwall.
You can't. You enjoy it. Even if it's just 10, you are going to enjoy it.
Right. Yeah, it's fun to watch him play. So we get to do it every week. Let's hope we get to do it every week. We'll see. So yeah, there's plenty of good Caribbean players in the league. I know a lot of Caribbean fans actually follow the league because they like to see the players doing well. We've got Colin Archibald here in North Carolina now, and he just recently he was named to the Windies A side and also to the Leeward Islands 4-day team coming up in when's that, September or so. So yeah, we've got some quality West Indian players here. You know much more about them than I do. But so I'll be reaching to you for expertise as I do.
That's never a problem.
So another cool thing, New England Eagles, you know, a lot of people a little bit down on that on them as far as their, you know, they don't have them rated very high, but they won a game this weekend against the DC Hawks. So yeah, there you go. You've got New England, you have Florida, Fort Lauderdale winning games this weekend against teams that maybe last year you wouldn't have guessed that they would have beaten.
No, it's true. I think it's also true what people are thinking about, or rather not thinking about, is that there have been a lot of player swaps that have gone on for season 2. So even the same DC Hawks have lost quite a lot. Pretty much I would call it a nucleus of their side from last season. So, you know, you have the expectations based on the performances from last year, but you also got to take in consideration that there's really been a lot of switching around of players to different teams. And, you know, maybe the new sides might gel together, maybe they might not. But again, it's going to be interesting.
Right. So we talked, you and I spent a lot of time talking about the East last year. And this year it looks like it's going to be a dogfight again. You can just see that happening. New Jersey Stallions, who made it all the way to the finals last year, they lost their first game to the Manhattan Yorkers pretty badly on Saturday. And then they came back and they won on the very last ball against the Cavaliers on Sunday. And Sai Mukkamalla scoring the winning boundary on the very last ball when they needed 3 to win. Beautiful. Great to see that, especially from a young USA international player. And Sai scored, you know, quite a few runs this weekend. He scored 60 odd runs this weekend, but he didn't even score the most runs amongst players under the age of 21. And that honor goes to Munib Riyasat from Houston, who scored 95 runs at 161. He scored those runs in a game that they lost. So what a shame, but he's 18 years old. I hear he's a very good talent. And yeah, so we've got even more emerging players to look forward to. And Amin and I are going to talk about that at length, obviously, this week, as we like to do. But yeah, so we saw Saurabh Netravalkar. He's heading away. We talked about him for a brief time. He took 6 wickets this weekend. Excellent stuff. Great to see him hot going to play international T20s. We don't play a lot of international T20s in this country. We pretty much just play qualifiers, and then we don't do any other international T20s, except for obviously we had Ireland in December. So yeah, this league is. Minor league cricket is very important because it gives us that information we need to know about who should really be in the national team, who should be in the scope of the selectors. So here we are. We've got another season of this, and I think it played a lot into why we had the team that we had in Florida against Ireland last year. It certainly did play a role in that. When you look at the players who weren't even on the national radar, they weren't in the training squad, and they made it to that team, like Ryan Scott last year and Marty Kane. Who wasn't, for some reason, Marty Kane wasn't in the training squad before minor league, but he made it all the way to the national team. He'll be leaving San Diego as well, the San Diego Surf Riders. Also, speaking of the Surf Riders, I don't know if did you get to see their uniforms this year? Did you get to see their shirts this year?
No, I didn't. I saw a couple chats about the uniforms, but I didn't actually personally lay my eyes on them.
Well, look, we try to be positive here, but but those shirts from last year, man, were fantastic. Everybody loved them. Yeah, they were some of everybody's favorite shirts, and they don't have them anymore this year. That's all I'm going to say is they don't have the same shirt this year, and it's a shame.
I mean, you don't want one of their shirts this year.
I mean, I'll take. They can send me one of their shirts from this year too. I can give them my address, but I just, there are some improvements. Morrisville Raptors, I like their shirts this year a ton more.
Mhm.
So that's, there's give and take you know how it is with shirts. It's not like the NFL where you every year you have the same uniforms. This is cricket. I think growing up as an American sports fan, you don't expect your team to change uniforms very often. It's kind of the brand of the team. But as we know, in franchise cricket, in soccer, in other world franchise sports, they change kits every year.
Yep.
So yeah. So the bad news is San Diego changed their kits. Yeah. So we saw some Navin Stewart, who we didn't know if he was going to be on a team. They didn't announce the wild cards until late, and even then there were some left unsaid. Navin Stewart stepped up with the Cavaliers and took 6 wickets in 8.1 overs, had a 7.22 economy this weekend. So, it's nice to see some of these players who were wild cards last year stick around. We talk about Roshon Primus a lot last year. He was with this.
Yeah.
He's back with the team this year. There was a question about whether or not that would happen. Very good pick. Why change something that's working? Powerful guy. He's a prototypical T20 cricketer.
No, he's actually built for it. Look, in terms of his bowling, he is quite economical. He hits, he straps hard. He's one of those very slidey bowlers. Funny enough, he's also from Barbados. Sorry for the plug. But no, he is a gem of a bowler. He's going to get you wickets. He's going to peg back the opposition. But then with the bat, his form back home coming here from Barbados was phenomenal.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Maybe 3 or 400s that he had in the season in Barbados before coming over here. And I'm also excited to see what he does, because he kind of flew under the radar a little bit last season. He showed up for sure in a couple of matches, including the final, and had an amazing performance. And I'm hoping that can carry on as well, because he's played in CPL, he's played, in a couple leagues and whatnot, and he has the talent. So it's now to see if it can click, on a consistent basis. But I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what he produces this year for Silicon Valley, because I think it could be special.
Right. And, you said he's economical, but, yeah, and yes, he is. But he's also quick. How many guys in Barbados are faster than him? How many do you think?
I would say maybe give or take 8, 9, maybe. Yeah.
All right. So we need to start building a bridge. Getting these guys over here. We need to annex Barbados somehow. I mean, in a peaceful way. In a peaceful way. They've already been named the Royals. You know what I mean? They've already gotten the Trident name taken away. So we don't want to take anything else away from them. But yeah, we saw some good bowling performances from some emerging players. We saw Dev Tadani with 3 overs, 2 wickets, 3.0 economy for Silicon Valley Strikers. We saw Sammy Sohal with the Chicago Tigers go 3.4 overs for 2 wickets. A little bit expensive at 9.27, but probably par for an Astro. Ali Sheikh, Dallas, 4 overs, 3 wickets, 6.25 economy. Vatsal Veghela, 4 overs in his 1 game, 1 wicket, 3.0 economy. Devam Srivastava from San Diego, 4 overs, 2 wickets, 3.75 economy. And obviously, back to the batters, Sai and Munib were phenomenal with the bat this weekend. So yes, go ahead.
Yeah, before you go on, I want to know, I don't know who's keeping the stats on this, but could this weekend be the most batters who've gotten into the 90s but not gone 100?
Has to be. There was 4.
Yeah. Unmukchan, Munib, Rahkheem, and then Ketene Clarke run out on 99.
Ketene Clarke, that was heartbreaking. He was in the 90s, I think, in the middle of the 17th over. He was at 91, I think, in the middle of the 17th over, and didn't make it because everybody around him failed. So he didn't make it to the century. And he had to do the right thing for his team there at the end, trying to get back on strike. Had to take a chance. Had no choice.
Heartbreaking, but I think that could be a stat for us. The most players that get into the 90s without having 100 in one weekend.
Right. That's one of those, stats you don't really need, but it's nice to have. 4 players in the 90s, phenomenal. None of them could get across the line. Most of them had the opportunity to, had the time to do it. I think Unmokt was the one that walked with his bat. Didn't really have the chance to do it. But yeah, so exciting first week so far. We've got the upcoming 4th of July weekend, which is loaded with games. I know here in Morrisville, we're going to have 7 games. Obviously, the Cardinals are going to be playing in 3 of them. Then we have, a ton of visiting teams coming. It's going to be very exciting. So, wait on your vacation until after. Wait on your 4th of July vacation until after Monday. Save up your leave or whatever, because there's going to be plenty of exciting games this weekend. And let's see, is there anything else we need to cover right now? Oh, another thing I wanted to say, we were talking about Rahkheem Cornwall scoring 93, and Adam Khan was the bowler that got him out, an under 19 bowler who played in this for the South Zone team in the U19 Nationals. So that's, to me, it's like, this is the best thing about the league right now. We got to see a superstar score 93 runs, and then we got to see an under 19 player get him out.
Yep.
It's 2 great things right there converging. My favorite things about the league.
I was actually impressed with his confidence as well, throwing up the ball again to Rahkheem, because he
got hammered.
Nah, he was going. Rahkheem spared no one. He was going. So I was definitely impressed with his confidence throwing at the ball. And then, funny enough, the very next wicket to fall, he was involved with as well. Caught that long on, a brilliant catch. So as an under-19, I was definitely impressed with how he played again this weekend.
There was also a sequence in one of the Woodley games where Gayan Fernando, on back-to-back balls, he had a chance for a run out. This is something I love about cricket. When the batter just gets a piece of it and they try to run that quick single, and the ball's in front of the bowler and he's running in, it's a race between him and the non-striker, and the bowler kicks the ball towards the stumps, the soccer run out. I love watching that. So Fernando just misses getting the runner out with the soccer style kick. And then on the very next ball, it was hit to Harpreet Singh, and he hurriedly he looked to throw to the keeper's end, but realized the better throw was to the bowler's end. And so he just pivots, while he's kind of in the middle of his motion, he just pivots and throws it back to Gayan Fernando. And, the ball's a little bit offline because the fielder was going one way and throwing the other. Gayan Fernando makes a diving play as he's falling away, turns and throws and hits the stumps, and they get the run out. And those 2 plays, I love seeing things like that happen, where a fielder has a heads up moment, picks the right end to throw to, and then you see the bowler or the keeper get the ball and then toss it back to the stumps. I love that sort of thing. Like, that's one of the things that makes cricket exciting is those little run outs like that. It's it's more than just hitting the ball a mile. It's more than just clean bowling batters, and it's more than scoring a century. It's T20 cricket is fast paced. It's got a lot of the things that I think baseball. I love baseball. Me. I love baseball. I'll always be a baseball fan. But right now, there's a lot of stagnant non-action in baseball, and it's like strike out or you hit the ball in the air. There's not a lot of infield play anymore. So I love seeing runouts and close calls like that on, in T20 cricket in our league, in the minor league cricket, you get to see this stuff happen so often.
Thanks for saying that cricket is better than baseball.
Oh,
don't comment.
I'm not going to go there. That I'm not going to go that far, man.
I had to slide it in. I had to try.
There was so much great action this weekend, so many great plays that reminded me of what I love about the game. And the cool thing is that happened in the premium stream. So I got to see great commentary, replays that were from different angles of the play. That's what this premium stream brings to minor league cricket, and it's a massive addition. I think it's great value for the league.
No, it honestly is. And honestly, at the beginning, I'm excited. I'm genuinely excited. I sent out a tweet just before the start of my league saying, it is really about the platform that it provides for the exposure of talent. So looking forward to it being exposed in a premium way. And yeah, it is going to be amazing.
Yeah. Did any player really stand out? Did anybody surprise you this weekend?
Did anybody surprise me? I'm not sure if I would say that I was surprised, but I was thoroughly impressed by some of the performances. One bowler that stood out to me was Amila Aponso, left-arm spinner. One, he took an amazing cotton ball catch, but what I was really impressed with was the way he went about bowling, his control with the lines and lengths. I'm actually very interested in watching him go through, especially against, I don't want to say better opposition, but better batsmen, for lack of a better terminology right now, to see how he controls that as well. But I was thoroughly impressed with how he went about his overs. Of course, is Rahkheem Cornwall, that just, as usual, he's thereabouts with everything. But yeah, but for one stand-up player from what I watched this weekend, for me, what was Amila Aponso.
Yeah, he was terrific. I got to see him in person a couple of times since the last minor league cricket. I've got to see him bowl a couple of times in person, and I'm definitely impressed with that guy. He's a very good bowler. One person who impressed me was Justin Dill with the bat. I thought he was excellent for his new team, the St. Louis Americans. They really need a player like him to step up, and so and he did, and he has stepped up with the bat. And obviously, we both know he's a very good bowler, a very wristy bowler, a good all-around player. So it's nice to see him step up his game where he's getting more batting responsibility on that St. Louis team. And I think that Ehsin Adil fella from Golden State.
Okay.
That I mean, 6 wickets in a game, and every one of them were pretty too. He had a couple of, it was funny because 2 of his wickets came after 2 straight wides. And one of them was like bouncer that went behind the guy, bouncer that went way wide of him to his offside, and then boom, right on the stumps, bowled, clean bowled middle stump. And it's like, when a guy, he gets that much bounce, does a couple of them, you might stand a little bit taller or something, and then boom, stumps tumbling behind you. So yeah, I liked watching him. I really enjoyed watching him bowl. I was cheering for him to get that 6th wicket. Yeah, great weekend, and thanks for joining me. And we'll do this again, I'm sure. I mean, I hope that I'm hoping that you'll come back, next time.
Nate, I'm here. I'm here, Nate.
Yeah, great. Well, we got to get you back to Morrisville before the finals. You're in Atlanta now, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, let's get you up here next time in Atlanta. Next time an Atlanta team comes up, just come up with them. Just get on the
probably.
Ride.
I will.
Good. You can join me in comps.
Looking forward to it.
Awesome, man. Great talking to you.
All right, Nate.